Welcome to another episode of Sip and Speak. Pastor Mike, my name is Christelle.
My name is Charles.
If you're new here, click the subscribe button so you can get the latest episodes and leave a comment below. Sharing is caring, so please share.
Yeah, that's it.
All right then. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about religion. But before we start, let's introduce the rest of our cast. I'm Bree.
Benson, go.
Sit back, relax, grab your drink. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. One for the weekend.
Yeah. Some people start early.
Let's not get into that right now. All right then, guys. So because we're on the topic of religion, I want to hear from everyone if you all grew up in a religious
Are you religious?
background. Yeah, did you grow up in a religious family? We're going to start with Benson. Can you share your story?
Yeah. So I grew up in quite a Christian-based household. Well, my upbringing was weird because I was raised in a Jamaican foster home for a bit. So, and they were very religious as far as Christianity is concerned.
Mm.
But then, I don't know, I've kind of had a bit of a natural connection with Islamic faith.
Mm.
In just, I don't know, there's just lots of things about that religion in particular which I think are quite impressive. I mean, just in terms of living life in a good way, innit? Now, a lot of Muslim people, and most of them that I know, they carry themselves with a lot of respect, a lot of dignity and honor.
Mm.
And I think it's testament to what the religion portrays. Obviously, there's bad people in every religion, but
Of course, yeah.
for me, so I grew up in a Muslim Christian kind of melting pot of religion.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, people will say I'm spiritual and not religious, innit? But it's more or less the same connotation, but just with a different context around it.
I agree.
Yeah, but the framework is still essentially the same. But yeah, so that's kind of my take on religion.
So what do you believe in? Do you believe in Christianity or do you believe in Islam?
Well, I believe that with all religions, really, the fundamental axiom is the same for all religions. There's kind of a superseding being who kind of gives us all our life and our existence, essentially. Where all religions kind of have that same trope. All religions, kind of have certain rules in place which are supposed to govern how we are in society in the best way possible for us to thrive. I think that's what the Bible is like. The Bible is like a textbook on how to be a good human being. The stories that they tell in there, but it also tells you the stories of the really bad people, so it gives you reference points for good and evil, essentially. I think that's what religion is supposed to do, and try and direct you towards the good side. So yeah, that's kind of what I think.
Yeah.
I hear that, but I was asking you a question, what do you believe in? Do you believe in Christianity or do you believe in Islam? Because obviously you've had the choice or the opportunity of brought up in both. So
yeah, I think it's a case of I don't believe in one more than the other.
Mm.
I believe that they all come from the exact same place, and maybe that via the language or the culture, different things have been implemented by different people as time has gone on, and it's kind of divided what the entire concept is, and that could have been pushed in via, how Christianity was used to enslave millions of people during various times in the past, 400, 500, 600 years.
yeah.
So it's one of those things. It's like a knife. You can use a knife to stab someone, or you can use it to chop some onions.
Mm.
It's not the knife that's the problem. It's how it's used.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about that. So I believe that it's all the same thing, but just different languages.
Right, Then, so how about you, Brie? Did you grow up in a religious household?
No, I didn't. I mean, my mum used to go to church. My dad, nah, he didn't go to church. Like sometimes if he had to go because there was something going on, he would go. But we was never really like into church like that. Like we all believed there's somebody there, but we didn't go every Sunday to go and pray. And my dad never really forced me like, oh, you have to. You know, there's some families where you have to go to church. My dad was very relaxed with that. And I think my sister one time just took me to the Jehovah Witness thing. I didn't know what it was. I just saw people being nice to me and it was all about God. So I said, okay. So I ended up spending a lot of time with that family that took me there. And I was literally going to those meetings every, it's like Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and then Saturday and Sundays. Literally going there all the time. They're a bit more stricter. They were a bit more strict, like certain things he wasn't allowed to do, like birthdays, no birthdays, Christmas, none of that. Like it was really strict to me, and I didn't understand it. I was just like, why are you not celebrating your birthday? But then as I grew up, I realized what it actually like. That's what they believe in, and yeah.
So you're not really religious like that, are you?
Do you know what? Like I said, I do believe in God, but like I said, I don't think you have to go to church to have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
So it's like if you at home and also pray in that, I think it's not, I'm not saying it's good enough, but it's a start, you know, a relationship with God in your own time I think is important.
Well, I can't blame you because this church is this church. You don't even know which is which. So obviously, you having your own faith and just being able to pray with your God wherever you are, that could be good enough. You know, think about it. These churches these days, man, they're only thinking about money. You know, offering. How many times when you give offering to a church, then you do donations. Then you know everyone's there. Then you have a pastor that will tell you those people that can give 50,000 naira right now, come to the rights. You know. You know, everyone's there. So I don't really blame everyone for not trying to say, yeah, I'm going to the church to go do what. It's a business now, isn't it?
But I think I went church. I don't go to church that often, innit? But I think like because my sisters are really into church, I've got a lot of sisters. And one of my sisters was like, you should come. And it was a weekend where I wasn't working. I had no reason not to go. I thought I'm going to support my sister. So I went to the church and, you know, it was good for a bit. And then I started hearing the pastor talking about, you know, people like missing him and not texting him and stuff like that. And I was thinking to myself, this ain't about you, bro. Like, it's about the word of God, man. Like, okay, ask if they missed the word of God, but you specifically, like, come on, man. Like, we ain't. Yeah, it was weird. Really? And I was just there. Yeah, real talk, innit? Like, I'm a candid guy, innit? Like, I try and keep it as close to the truth as possible, innit? Even though the truth sometimes can be misconstrued. But you know, and then you know they were talking about like the offering. And they mentioned the offering and how there's this passage in the Bible that says something like, "Oh, he went to the place, and people were told to offer what they could offer, but people gave more." And man, listen, this is the same sound. Yeah, it's the same sound that people were making in the churches. That But I was thinking to myself, you mean to tell me if I'm in debt, yeah, and you're telling me I'm saying I can only give this £10, you're telling me it will make me a better person if I give £50 and then forgo paying my electricity bill so I can contribute to your blessing that God is going to give because I gave you this blessing. I thought, my brother, if that was good, bruv, just send me God. I'll send direct debit to his to God's account. Yeah, I'll pay for my route, bruv. I'll just direct debit him directly, bruv. Why have I got to go through you, bruv? you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't mean to cuss out anything in it. Like I'm not gonna say no names in it, but you know.
No, you know what? On
Get
this
me,
panel,
Pastor Toby.
on this panel, we've had life experiences in it, so it's good to share like with people these life experiences and why we have certain opinions. There's always what's the word? There's always a beginning to an end. So there's a reason why our what do you call it? Our view on religion is varied because of our own, individual experiences. If I was to start with my journey in the long run, I grew up in a very, very Christian household. So the fear of God was forced into me from when I was young. Like I would steal and I would be like, God forgive me. God forgive you. Like I was repenting every day. So it was just one of those ones. But I think the older I got, I got a bit more intelligent. I started experiencing life, and then I started reading the Bible myself. And that's when, and I started praying to God. And that's when I realized all these aunties and uncles, they claim to be religious, but the lifestyles they're living does not reflect whom they claim to be. So that kind of made me divert from religion. So I think I had a little atheist moment at one point. I think, like Benson said, I was calling myself spiritual. I believe there was a superior being, an entity out there that created us, but I didn't know what name to call him at that time. No, it was crazy. And plus, my dad was a pastor, believe it or not. Not a lot of people know that. So I was a pastor's daughter for the longest time. And that was annoying because every time that auntie that claims she didn't club call you slipping in the club, she'll be like, "Aren't you the pastor's daughter?" And you're looking at her, "Why are you here? Why are you here? Don't be judging me." And the kids talking. But along the way, though, the older I got, and when I had a bereavement in the family, no word of a lie, that made me get closer to God. Because and then I was like, look, God, I literally had a full-on conversation because I didn't know who God was. I didn't experience him in my life. I sort of depended, I saw religion through my parents. My parents had to pray for me. You know what I mean? I never sought God myself. So when I did start seeking God, he revealed a few things. Like people will say, oh, it was a placebo effect or because you were vulnerable. No. Something in me told me that this was God. And that's when I believed that God does exist. And whether it's Christian or Islam, but there is a God out there. But yeah, so that's my scope on religion. I believe in God. I am a Christian. I try my best. But then at the end of the day, I'm about to get church on your asses because God did say he came down on this earth to obviously wash away all our sins and bear our crosses. So I'm not perfect, but I try. So I'm going to pass this on to Charles.
I was going to say, what do you think? Like, how were you brought up? In terms of God, and what do you think about religion right now, personally?
Yeah, I was brought up in a church household. When I say church from Monday to Friday, that's how it's Monday to Sunday. You come back, you have night studies.
Oh gosh.
Oh God.
And I said gosh. And I'm not even trying to say God forgive you. But the thing is, fam, it was much, it was too much.
What was too much?
The whole praying, the whole going to church, the whole Bible studies. From Monday you have Bible study. It's that Wednesday you got something else. Friday you go church again, and Saturday you go to the church to go and help out, and Sunday you go back to that same church again. It was a bit much. And when you come back home as well, don't forget you guys, your mom's friend or the people there are prayer warriors. And when I say prayer warriors, where they will be spitting and just shouting. Everyone's there, and they'll be like, bro, it was much, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. You get into it as well when you're a kid because there's no other way for you, though. Exactly. When I say I used to go to Mountain of Fire, MFM. Okay, that's Nigeria church. So the thing is like, bro, there's thousands of people. When I say thousands of people in this church, but they say prayer words. When you sit like that, okay, let's say you go to church now and you say, oh yeah, you're looking for a job, you haven't found a job, or you haven't found a wife or a husband. They will not get out some prayer words around you. You'll be in the middle. Yeah. Everybody's putting your hands on you while you're praying for you. Oh, that was there. That was there. So you know how much saliva is coming on you there right there, but everybody's like like, so yeah. And when you come back home again, like you're thinking, okay, you've left the church, now let's come back home to come chill in the house. Nighttime, when you guys go to bed, when you're actually sleeping, they'll come and wake you up. We need to pray.
Yeah. It's time to pray.
We need to pray. Yes, now then you have to give prayers and worship and all that stuff. So you go start all over again inside the house while you're half sleeping, bro, or you're just tired as a kid. You're just there. Yeah, I was there like, I gotta do this, but I ain't got no choice. So yeah. But yeah, so it was much. The funny thing is well, I ran away from yard when I was young. Yeah. And I just walked off. Like I ended up in the church.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like let's say from here to Woolwich, so some madness, or from here to Abbeywood, let's say Abbeywood train station. How did I get there? I don't know. But my mom couldn't even tell. I was in the church, but don't get me wrong, yeah. I know this is mad, but
that's God leading you.
My guy, I was in the church. I was drumming. I was the drummer in the church and all that stuff. So like, I love when I was in the church.
Yeah.
Obviously, you take my whole mind away from stuff as well.
Yeah.
You're happy when you're there, and when you found that there's God in that place, and it's about caring. Everyone cares for each other. Love. The whole community is nice. It's not one of those ones that you go and give offering and the pastor will say, oh yeah, second offering. No, it was nothing like that.
No, I hear that still.
I was a church guy, drummer. I tried playing the flute. They said, I can't play that. My mouth swell up. It's not good. But I respect people that do. But basically, I was found in the church, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was brought up in the church thing, bro. Like proper, bro. When I even came to England as well, my guy, we go to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
One day you have to go to church, and when you're coming out from clubbing as well, your parents don't know that you've been out last night. You
have to go to church.
You still gotta go to church, bro. So yeah, I believe in God. I believe in God. There's a mighty power there.
Definitely.
I can't explain it because you can't tell me Big Bang. What the heck is a Big Bang?
Yeah, but it's mad that you said that about the Big Bang because. Like when I listen to people like atheists talk, and like even people from that just don't believe in God in general, like they just think it's just a made up story to manipulate us. Like you can almost correlate the story of the Big Bang with like with God. Do you get what I mean? And this is why this is what led me to think. When I was going through like my phase of understanding like about God, like, okay, there's a God, which is a big man in the sky that just made us all. And then we're just here. Yeah. And then the period of doubt that you go through when you go to church and you don't see what you think should be happening in the church in terms of the community that you was talking about and stuff like that. And maybe, the pastor is saying all of this stuff, pretending to help people. And then he's just using the money to go and buy a big TV, to go and buy a Range Rover, you get me?
Yeah.
So I've got to like this space now. I've kind of consolidated that that whole Big Bang theory is like, what was the Big Bang? The creation of light out of darkness. But that's the same story of how God created the world. So it's the same story. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like the atoms and the molecules and everything. When people talk about that and how they just burst into the universe, it's like, well, you can see that from things like when you watch a baby grow, from a seed that gets fertilized by a sperm, and then multiplies and then becomes this fetus, which then becomes this whole living entity.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like that theory correlates. It for me is in line with like the scientific theory. It's parallel. So it's just like it could be one or the other. It doesn't matter. But the way we view it and the way we respond to it is exactly the same. And that's why I believe that even people that don't believe in God, I think when they say, no, I don't believe in God, I'm spiritual. It's like, yeah, you believe in God. You just don't want to say it that way because you don't want it to have the correlations of the negative connotations to do with, you know, priests molesting children and, you know, people using the Bible to enslave people or to use it to justify genocide and things like that. Do you get what I mean?
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you make some very valid points. I just wanted to say this is a little disclaimer that we are not professionals, we are not trained. We are just people who have had life experiences and are sharing it with you on the internet. So you don't need to take our advice and don't be a troll. Constructive criticism only, okay, guys? Thank you. You also, Benson, you brought up a valid point, and Brie, I think me and you, we discussed last time that you both have looked into Islam. So obviously I'd like to hear your perspective as individuals who grew up in a Christian family or have a Christian background, but were then considering another religion. Could you guys just explain your point of view, Brie?
Basically, because I had a lot of Muslims as friends, so it's not because of them, but I just was really intrigued by it. I was like, oh, I'm going to the mosque. I'm like, oh, okay, you know. And in the school as well, we went to a mosque one time. I mean, we went to the church one time, and when we went to the church, I was like, okay. It didn't amaze me, like it didn't give me the thrill, like, oh, this is so nice, you know. But when we went to the mosque, it just, something took over. I was like, oh wow, this is so beautiful. Like obviously the women are somewhere and then the men are in another place. They take their shoes off and all that, and they're all dressed the same. Like that was the point for me. I was like, they're not even looking at each other like that. Like, you know, it's like from the experience I had from other churches, it was always like you have to dress a certain way. And I'm like, you're going to prayer. Can I not just wear anything that I want to wear?
Yeah.
That's the thing that it's not that I didn't like it, but it's like, why do I have to dress up to pray? Can I not just be like normal? Can I not just go like the way I'm dressed right now and go and pray? That's how I see it. I don't think you should do too much, even makeup and all that, you know. But yeah, so my friends were just asking me if I was a Christian, and I said, no, I don't know. Like my parents are Christians, but I don't really go to church and that. So I just start reading or going online and just seeing Islam, like the religion and that, checking it out, and I just liked it. I liked the language anyways. I loved the language, and I just like, it's such a peaceful religion for me. And like Benson said already, it's like the way they carry themselves, to me, it's like, I don't know no Muslim that even likes drama, like the ones that I've been around. They just want peace, and they're very friendly. They don't judge. They don't even judge other religions as well. I mean, there are some that judge.
There's always some.
You know, there's always some. But the ones that always come around, they never used to say, oh, you're Christian. They never did that. They never teased me about it or anything. So I just was looking into it. I was almost gonna do it, but I said, if I become a full Muslim, I said, I need to fully invest in it. Same as if I was becoming a Christian, I would have to invest in it fully, because it's just something that you should do. Do you know what I mean? So to me, it was like, I don't think I'm ready, but when the time is right, I will do it. I mean, I haven't thought about it now that I've got kids as well. So it's a bit different with the children, like, because my daughter, she likes church. So it's very like divided, like she likes church. With my daughter, she's really into church. So it's a bit, but she has interest in other religions as well. So yeah. So yeah, that was my.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for sharing. How about you, Benson?
Me, I mean, I don't know. I kind of think I said my thing on it. Like I was raised like in a Jamaican like household, but then like there was, I had one uncle, which I can't say his name is Mohammed. Mm-hmm. You get me? Because he was Muslim.
That's a typical Muslim name.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's bare Mohammeds. Mm-hmm. So, and I think what really hit me, about Islam was when I watched him pray.
How did they pray? Could you share that?
Yeah. It's like there's this process. I'm not sure exactly how each step of the prayer goes, but they'll put their mat down, and then they'll go down on their knees, and then you see them put their head to the floor, and then they'll stand up, and then they'll go back down to the floor, and then they'll stand up again, and then go back. Like, and it's kind of like, I don't know, innit? Like, I'm an artist and stuff like that, so I see things from a certain lens. But when I see them do things like that, like I look at this, from the perspective of, okay, he's standing up at certain points because he wants to show his command of himself as a man as far as the world is concerned. But when he addresses God, he must always go to his lowest place, as if he's at the feet of the entity which blesses him. And I just found it so, like, it was deep to me to watch it. Like, it felt right. It felt like a way, this is how you worship an entity which provides you with everything you have in it. And I just saw that. And then obviously, when Christians pray, they might go down on their knees, or they might speak in tongues, and there's various different ways in people express themselves. But back to what you were saying before, like about, when they have the prayer warriors for you and stuff like that, it can get overwhelming, like, because obviously us as well as African people, we can be very loud, we can be very passionate. And if there's like 20 passionate people around you talking and praying over you, and everyone's prayer wants their prayer to be the best prayer that God has ever heard, when listening to the prayer, and they're putting all of their energy into it, and it's like, you do feel the sentiment of grace where it's like, oh my gosh, I do feel blessed. But it's a lot of spit.
Spit out.
It's a lot. It can be in it. So but I don't think we'll ever disrespect the blessings that are bestowed upon us in it. And I think that's part of our upbringing, knowing that it's sometimes it does feel like a chore. But I think this is what the religion, not necessarily religion, but what your relationship with God is about. It's like make an effort to have that relationship with him.
Yes.
You know what I mean? In some way, shape or form, and I think that's part of why I even went to church, because I don't go to church. I've been to church many times before, but me as a man now, you know what I mean? At my big age, I do as I please when I choose. So if I don't want to go to church, I will not go to church just because someone tells me they think it's a good idea to go to church. However, that time when my sister asked me, I was moved and compelled to go to church, even if it was just to support her. I still went there to engage at that level. But I always try and keep Sunday as one of those days where I always reflect and look at myself, and I do have my conversation and my relationship with God in my own way, which I feel every single person needs to do. And I think the fact that it's one of the commandments is to have a day of rest every 7 days. It's like, well, shit, don't stab no one, don't kill no one, don't shoot no one, don't have sex with your brethren's girl, like, don't lust after your people's things. You know what I mean? Like, to speak truth as often as possible. Yeah, these are just regular things. But amongst all of that stuff, rest 1 day a week, remember me, and give thanks and give praise.
Yeah. Pass the mic.
And pass the mic.
Very valid point. I just wanted to say, this is a little disclaimer that we are not professionals, we are not trained. We are just people who have had life experiences and are sharing it with you on the internet. So you don't need to take our advice. Take your drinks right now, because I want honesty, 100% transparency. Please back your drinks. We're all backing drinks right now, okay?
Okay.
Sip and speak.
Let's do the sipping.
Because it's about to get real.
Okay.
Now, we was on a topic of discussion, right? The topic of religion, right?
Yeah.
But what I want to ask is, do you think the life choices that you've made reflect the religion status that you've chosen? And I'm going to start that with Charles.
No. Start with Benson.
Charles, don't even try. No, don't even try it.
No, because I'm going to hear what Benson's got.
No.
Yeah, your bit first, because
it depends on the choices that you make and how you do it. You know, because you can call a good Christian. What do you call a good Christian? What is a good Christian? Well, that's the thing. So it's just what you do is just moderation.
Yeah, I personally, I think, because obviously I work with a lot of Muslim ladies and I've known a lot of Muslim women in my life as well, growing up. I think one thing that inspires me about hijabi girls is the way they make modesty look fashionable. That sounds a little bit like, oh, what you're talking about, but just the way you know how they wrap their hair and then they're covered up, but they're looking so good. And I feel as though because I have swayed and been influenced by the Western world, I kind of have it in my head to look sexy or to be seen as feminine. You have to show a part of your body, which is sad. I mean, I'm trying to, change that mindset, but because it's inhabited into my brain, you see it on social media, the TV that we watch, it's kind of hard. So I think that's where I'm at. I'm struggling with, obviously, trying to praise my God through my fashion sense, because I love dressing up. I'm a fashionista, and also respect my man at the same time, and also, what's the word? Still be authentically myself. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm struggling with that. So I say the change I would have liked to have made is probably if my parents had instilled that law, like you don't have to show certain parts of your body to be seen as feminine or as a woman. If that was instilled in me a little bit younger, I would have known what to do by now. Sometimes I get confused. Sometimes like you want to go out, you want to step out, and you're in a midi dress and you're covered up. You're like, nah. You go pick the shortest midi dress, showing your back all out, titties all out. You're like, yeah, I'm feeling myself. And then you get upset when someone's like, oh, it's sexy. And it's just like, well, what can I say?
That dress.
Yeah. Passing the mic on to breathe.
Yeah, like to me, it's like it's either you show your legs or you show your boobs. To me personally, you can't do both. That's too much, I mean, as a woman, you do get these things where men are going to be like, oh, hey, but that's part of it. That's part of being a woman. I mean, if you see a good-looking man, you're going to say, oh, hey, you're good-looking. There's nothing, I don't think there's anything wrong with this, but I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that I mean, that doesn't mean you're doing something. I mean, you have to respect your man, but I mean, if you see somebody that is good looking, there's nothing wrong to say it. And I like to hear it when I go out as well. Come on. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm questioning the man as well. I was like, you don't think I'm pretty? Like, are you gay or something? Or like, you don't like women? Like,
I'm not homophobe.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, maybe you like men only. Yeah, like maybe you just like men because, sometimes as a woman, when you step out and you look good and the guy is not approaching you, you question that. Do I really look good? Like, we do that, but so.
Build your self-esteem.
I know, but you want to hear it. Oh, you look really good.
Yeah, I'm cute.
I'm cute. I know I am, but I want to hear it from the outside world as well. But yeah, for me, for example, with the whole, like me,
Hold on. Let me just cut in. Pass the mic. 1 second. We're going to come to you, my guy. You're trying to tell me that obviously if you have a man and you dress up sexy and you go outside, you still want other men trying to tell you that you look good? Or if you're talking about being single?
In both ways, really. To me, I mean, my relationship with my partner anyways, we're okay in that department. I mean, he can go out. I don't expect him to go dance with girls because I don't dance with guys. But if a girl approaches him and says, oh, you're really handsome, I wouldn't care about that. That doesn't really bother me because he will come and tell me. And also, like, you can be in a relationship and you can see another good. I mean, when we're in a car and we see a girl that has a nice bum, I'm like, oh God, look at that. She'll be like, oh my God, it's a nice. I'm like, it is, isn't it? So we can share. I think it's like the relationship you have with your partner as well. And if it's a bit more like, I wouldn't say open, hey, not open relationship or anything like that. But I'm just like, if you're very open to certain things like that. If you can watch something, and like we've watched shows before, and the women have just their boobies out, and I'm just like, oh goddamn, those boobs are nice. It's like, yeah, they are, innit? And it's like, it's as well, you as a person have to have that self-confidence. But as you said, when I go out, yes, I do like to hear from other men as well, oh, she's good. So I can be like, oh yeah, some guy was like, I look really cute. It might make him feel like, why are you so happy about that? Well, I'm just letting you know the outside world thinks I'm beautiful, so you know you got a good one. Because sometimes men don't realize what they have. So when I tell you that, I know it's a bit petty, but like, come on.
Look, it's a bit of a
I'm not going to say anything right now.
stroking the ego. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want, it's like, you know how guys say, oh, I don't want a guy looking at my woman. But you don't want your woman to look that bad for no guy to try and look at your woman.
You have to look.
You kind of want someone to be like, for you to be like, bro, who you looking at? That's my girl. You kind of want that. Rather than no one, your girl steps in the room, you go out with her, nobody.
It's even
crickets.
Like doing.
You'll be like, bro, like, did I choose right? Like, you're looking at your girl, like, wait, what's going on here? Like,
I mean, let's hear from the guys as well.
Yeah.
Like, how do you
passing the mic to Benson?
When it comes to like life choices, like I know I haven't always made life choices 100%. Like I'll be straight with that. I'll be real with it. Like I've sinned. Like obviously we've all sinned, innit? Like so to me it's like the judgment. I don't really feel any of the judgment as far as human beings are concerned because it's God's judgment that I fear the most. So a lot of the time I actually don't feel like the shame or the disrespect or any of that stuff when I've done certain of the things that I've done which might be held as unsavory. Because at the end of the day, other people have done way worse. Other people have done not as bad, but who am I to judge them? So I can't judge them. So I just leave that up to God, innit? Like, so God will judge whether or not I'm a good enough person or whatnot. I've just got to do what I think is right at the time. Get me? What I think is necessary. And I've always kind of had this imbalance between good and evil, because I've always thought that if you're trying to be a genuinely good person, you have to understand what evil is. You have to be able to know where evil is. You have to understand that evil is inevitably part of you as well, because we encapsulate both things in it. You get me? And that's part of the reason why I wear the whole yin and yang thing that I see with the bracelet as well. You know, and that's because it is about balance in it. Because if you're too good, then you just get trampled on. But if you're too bad, then you go to jail. You end up hurting people. So you have to kind of incorporate both things and understand how to walk with one foot one way, the other foot the other side. Know when to be soft when it's time to be soft, know when it's hard when it's time to be hard.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest balance about trying to walk the line of good and evil. You just got to know where to balance it. And that's how I try and operate my life. And God will decide whether or not I was good enough to save my soul. And all of that stuff. And then in the meantime, like, it is what it is.
How many times, Benson, do you read the Bible?
How many times do I read the Bible?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've read the actual Bible as in attempted to go from front to back to it at least twice.
Do you read it daily? Like, do you read the scripture daily?
I do not read the scripture daily. However, somehow a scripture daily seems to pass through my lips. Okay. And I think that's genuinely because I do try to uphold that faith. And that's why I think even though I don't read the Bible every single day, at some point, God appears in a conversation that I'm having with someone. God makes its way into a decision that I have to make. And it gets addressed there through what I understand of the concept of him. Because sometimes I think when people read the Bible, there's so many different aspects of it that can be taken in and out of context and be used in a different way. So for me, it's more about the concept of the guidance and the fundamentals. So if you can take, let's say, two things out of the Bible, the 10 Commandments and the story of Cain and Abel. If you just take those two things away, you can understand what the Bible is supposed to represent.
All right, I'm passing the mic on to Bree. So Bree, how many times do you read the Bible?
Sorry about it. I haven't read the Bible. I think the last time I read the Bible was when my twins were born. Jesus, they're 2 now.
Oh, okay. Do you remember where you left?
No.
Okay.
It was just, I think the reason why I read it is because when I gave birth to my twins, it was very, very dangerous. So I had the worst experience, and that's why I will never have kids again. But it was literally life and death situation. And when I was lying there, I was praying to God, and I didn't know I could pray like that. So I was praying, so like tears was falling out, like coming out. And I was praying. And I felt somebody tapping me and say, "You're going to be all right." But there was nobody there. So that's when I realized, you better, when you wait after this, you better be thankful for that. If I survive this, I need to find a different way of dealing with things in my life. So that's how it actually started, when I started going into the Bible and reading things, or even just listening to like gospel music, and like, because I get very emotional when I listen to gospel. Like I get very but it's only certain gospel music that gets me very emotional, even till this day. You know that song, Father, Can You Hear Me?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why, but that song, every time I hear it, I cry. I don't know. It's just, it's such a powerful song. And so to me, that's the last time I read. But I do, every morning, I do my little prayers.
Okay,
I pray over my children every night, every morning. That's a routine I do now because of the blessings that I've got given. Do you know what I mean? So I try my best to, because do you know, with the Bible, I don't understand the language in the Bible sometimes, the words that they use, and I'm like,
what version are you reading?
I don't know. It's just like, what does that word mean? So I'm just like.
But there's sometimes where I think like you can go to a pastor. You know what I mean? That's why I think pastors are there for. Yeah. You've got your own relationship with God. Sorry.
Go on. Yeah, it's fine.
You know, you go to your pastor, you say, "Pastor, I'm trying to understand this in the Bible. Can you help me?"
Yeah, it's
the pastor
true.
will be there trying to do something else to you.
You're right. Listen, not all pastors.
I think finding the right church is the most important thing. Finding the right church. Like to
finding
me,
the pastor that got the time for you as well. To actually say, "Okay, let me help you decode this Bible."
Because sometimes you go, I've been to a couple churches and I was just like, no, I don't like this one. No, it's not. But I went to a white church in Central, Tottenham Court Road. I forgot the name of it. And it was beautiful.
Is that your church? No, I'm just saying.
It was a thumbs up when you said it.
We be talking about black church. It's a white, it's white church. I respect you lot too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, man.
But it was really nice. It was big. So you don't know anybody. You could.
When was the last time you read the Bible?
Are you the one asking me the question? Guy, you're trying to catch you.
I got a microphone. Go on. Pass the mic. Go on.
Boy. God forgive me, it's mad, bro. I can't even remember, Nah, you have to read today. You need to go home. The funny thing is, like you said, I pray, and the reason why I stopped reading the Bible, it was too many stuff that I don't believe in. Like, what do you mean? Because the Bible has been rewritten, no one really knows what is what. And recently, I have found that the Bible was made to enslave black people. And now that even made me even worse to not to even open the Bible no more, because we used to believe in saying, okay, if somebody slaps you on your left cheek, you turn the right one, let them slap you again. That is basically that slavery, like your masters. When the masters then beat you, you still gotta respect them. So I would beat you, slap you, make you eat nonsense, but I still go respect you. Nah, bro, like So when I read that and when I saw that as well, that it just made me not want to read the Bible anymore. But I have my own belief. So I carry that with me. You feel me? So it's not like I don't believe in God. I believe in God, but that Bible there to start reading it. And
Pastor Mike, I wanna say something to that. I think I'm lucky because for me to have studied like film and television and cultural studies the way I've studied it, like I understand how media is used to perpetuate a certain narrative, which is how the narrative was used to enslave black people with the use of that Bible in America. Do you get what I mean? That's how they indoctrinated us with a certain concept, but it's just the way they interpreted the concepts. But when I look at the Bible, I look at like a series of stories that show the essence of moral guidance within those stories, innit? So not the specific things that's happening, but the reasoning behind why these things have happened. So, for instance, Cain killing Abel, like, because of jealousy. You get what I mean? So it shows, it encapsulates. So someone might look at it and be like, oh yeah, well, Cain killed Abel, so now Cain's the guy. You get what I mean? But actually, what it is his jealousy is what consumed him to murder his brother, which could have been a partner to him towards being more of a unit and more formidable in the world moving forward. So it's little things like this, which if you interpret them through the kindness of your heart, which is what I believe God wants. If you can interpret the things out of the Bible like that, you can see all of the stuff which has been built to enslave people, you can wash away with it. And then you can just look at the actual sentiment of love and caring and connection, which is what human beings were supposed to build as a community with each other for. You can look at it through that lens because you're dealing away with all of the bullshit which has been put there to manipulate the story, but the essence of the story cannot be lost.
I never thought about it like that.
I agree with Benson. It's not about what you read word for word, is what they're telling you to do. It's more so, it's an example. The Bible is like, this is what people do. This is what do they call it? This is what happens when you do that. Sorry, this is what happens when you do that, the aftermath. So if you choose to do this, this is the path you're going down. But if you choose to choose the other path, that's the path you could potentially go down. So I agree with him in that sense. That's why I said, you see those slave masters, they chose to, I believe, interpret it word for word, turn the other cheek for their own private, horrible agendas. But I don't even think that's what turn the other cheek means. I think when they say turn the other cheek, it's about exercising patience. Because in life, you meet people that you just can't tolerate. You can't. If it was to go around beating up and slapping everybody that pissed us off, this would be a very aggressive world. Like literally, every person you just backhanding everyone. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I think turn the other cheek means. You know, when that person, there's something that Charles says. He's always like, I'm not gonna let you get the worst of me. And I strongly believe in that. That's what turning the other cheek is. Just because you're having a bad mood and deflecting it on me, I'm not gonna let you make me mad. That's what I interpret as turn the other cheek is. So
Don't let the man trick you out of your position.
100%.
Never.
100%. 100%.
Or female, for that matter. Or vice versa. You know
but like, if I was to say, like, do I read the Bible? Occasionally, I have a Bible app, which gives me, like, verses daily. And I just read it. And then sometimes I'll listen to what the Bible means. It'll be prayer guides. The word of the day. But I wouldn't say I read the Bible every day.
What am I talking about? I do read the Bible because I've got the same app as well, man. I've been getting the same notification and everything one of the days. So
I do make it a thing to like pray, but like everyone, I think everyone is kind of united in the sense that we are grateful and we make sure we practice gratitude at every moment of the day because we are blessed to be here. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, yeah, we're all blessed to be here, to be living, to
Amen.
still be healthy, to still see our loved ones. That in itself is a blessing. To have a roof over our heads,
Amen.
you know, that's all a
Amen.
blessing.
Mhm.
So there's no point in being ungrateful and walking with a cloud over your head, because there's somebody out there who's in a much worse position than you.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's just like, rather than complaining, what are you grateful for?
Be grateful.
Yeah.
Be grateful you're
Be
here.
grateful.
Yeah.
Can we all drink to that, please?
Can we, yeah, 100%. Be grateful.
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 Cheers.
For
Mhm.
real.
Cheers. Be grateful.
You know?
Well, guys, if you tuned in, thank you for tuning in. We're trying to build a community here. So click on the like button, subscribe, leave a comment below. No trolls, because you'll get blocked. Our social media details, you'll find it in the transcript. Follow us, slide into our DMs positively, say hi. Say hi. But once again, it's been
A pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us.
Christelle. Thank you, tuning in again. Bree, you want to leave us with a
No.
outro? No. Benson, word of the day.
Go on, Benson. Here's one for you. Know thyself.
Okay.
All right, and then we are dropping the mic from there. All right, then until next time, see ya.